レッスン4の音読トレーニングをしていきましょう。音読をすることによってリスニング力が上がってきます。ネイティブが言ってる英語を理解できるようになるために、まずは自分で発音するようにしていきましょう。それではいきます。
Irina Sendler may be an unfamiliar name to many people, but she was a hero who stood up to the Nazis and saved the lives of about 2,500 Jewish children during World War II. By 1942, the Germans had put about 450,000 Jews into the ghetto, an area of about 3.4 square kilometers in Warsaw. Irina was a Polish social worker in the city. Wearing nurse uniforms, she and her colleagues went into the ghetto with food, clothes, and medicine to help the people. It soon became clear, however, that the final destination of many of the Jews in the ghetto was the death camps. Irina's group decided to save as many children as possible. They realized that telling parents to part with their children was a horrible task. In later life, Irina remembered the sad faces of Jewish mothers having to be separated from their children. We saw terrible scenes. Sometimes fathers agreed, but mothers didn't. We had to leave those unfortunate families without taking their children from them. I'd go back there the next day and often found that everyone had been taken to the death camps. The fortunate children were taken out in potato sacks or coffins. Others were buried in goods. Separated from their parents and given new names, those children were taken to families and religious groups willing to help and risk their own lives. Older children were taught Christian prayers so that their Jewish heritage would not be noticed. Not wanting to lose their family records, Irina kept lists of the names of all the children she saved. She was hoping that she could one day reunite them with their families. One night in 1943, Irina's house was attacked by the German police. She wanted to throw the lists out of the window, but couldn't. The whole house was surrounded by Germans, so she threw them to her colleague and opened the door. There were 11 soldiers who severely damaged the house. The lists of names were saved because her colleague had hidden them in her own underwear. The Nazis took Irina to a prison and tortured her. Although she was badly injured, she refused to tell them about the helpers or children she had saved. Finally, she was sentenced to death. Just in time, her colleague bribed a guard, and she managed to escape and met her friends. Having retrieved her lists of names, she buried them in jars under an apple tree in a friend's garden. The lists provided about 2,500 names, and after the war, she tried to reunite the children with their families. Most of the parents, however, had been gassed in the death camps. Her life and work were not known for a long time. However, a group of American schoolgirls in Kansas happened to find out about her, and they wrote a play called Life in a Jar in 2000. It was performed more than 200 times in the U.S. and also in many other countries. Although the play was successful, Irina was not very happy. She said, "We are not some kind of heroes." That term irritates me greatly. The opposite is true. I continue to regret that I did so little. I could have done more. This regret will follow me to my death.